Hello and welcome to my channel Distinctive Crochet. My name is Priscilla and today we're going to be working on the surprisingly easy crochet cable cowl. So I do have a tutorial for the cable that is featured here, and I will leave the link for that tutorial down below in case you need a little bit more help with the cable. But you will need to know how to do post stitches and half double crochets. Alright, this is a close fitting cowl, but I do have adjustments that I will explain to you where you can make it larger or a little bit looser fitting or even a scarf. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into the materials. So you will need a number 5 bulky yarn or 2 strands of worsted weight yarn, .5mm crochet hook, a yarn needle, a measuring tape, and a pair of scissors. So as you can see on the picture here, I am wearing the cowl and it is a closer fit, but as I said, it is adjustable, and you can also see it here on the mannequin. And I also have a matching hat tutorial that I will be linking down below as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and get into this tutorial. Alright everyone, I do have a written pattern for this and I will link it down below. But to get started with this tutorial, you will need to make a chain of 21. And once you have your chain of 21, go ahead and flip it over to the back. And you're going to work a half double crochet in the second back bump. So here's the first one and here's the second one. So just go ahead and put a half double crochet right into there. And then you're also going to go ahead and put a half double crochet into each stitch across. So into each of those back bumps all the way across. Alright, and then you should have a total of 20 half double crochets when you finish. So I'm going to go ahead and do mine, and then I will meet you back when I have it. Alright, so I made it back and I have my 20 half double crochets. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and this is going to be row 1. So the first thing we need to do is we're just going to go ahead and work a half double crochet in the very first stitch, so that chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So we're going to put it right there in the first stitch. And now over the next 5 stitches, we're going to alternate front post and back post stitches, and we're going to start with the front post stitch. So go ahead and make the first stitch a front post double crochet. And now the next stitch, we're going to do a back post double crochet. So now we need to do a front post double crochet. And now the next one, we're going to do a back post double crochet. And then this next one, we're going to do a front post double crochet. Alright, so that was our 5 stitches. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Yep. Okay, so the next 2 stitches, we're going to work front post double crochets. So here's 1. Oops. Alright, so here's the first front post and the second front post double crochet. Okay, and on the next 4 stitches, we're going to go ahead and work back post double crochet. So over the next 4 stitches, work a back post double crochet. So here's 1. Here's 2. Here's 3 and 4. Alright, so over the next 2 stitches, we need to go ahead and do the front post double crochet. So the next 2 stitches, front post double crochet. So here's the first one and the second front post double crochet. Alright, so the next 5 stitches, we're going to alternate front post double crochet and back post. So the first one will be a front post double crochet, and the next one is going to be a back post double crochet. So on the next one, we need to do a front post again, And this next one is a back post double crochet. And then the last one will be a front post double crochet. Alright, so now on this last stitch, we need to go ahead and make a half double crochet. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn. So this is row 2. So we're just going to go ahead and work a half double crochet into the very first stitch. And now over the next 5 stitches, we're going to do the right stitch. So the right stitch is you're going to alternate front post and back post, but if it was a front post from the round below, you're going to make it a back post. If it was a back post from the round below, you're going to make it a front post. So the very first stitch is a back post, so we're going to make that into a front post. So I'm going to put a front post double crochet right around that one. And now this is a front post, so we need to make it a back post. Here's the next stitch, and that's a back post, so we need to make it a front post. And now here's a front post, so we need to make a back post. And now here's a back post, so we're going to make that one a front post. And this is the last one of our 5 stitches. So now we need to do is make the next 2 stitches in a back post double crochet. So here's 1 and 2. Alright, so over the next 4 stitches, we're going to work our cable stitch. So I do have a separate tutorial, and I will link it down below if you need more help with the cable stitch. Alright, I'm going to show you really quickly how to do it here a little bit if you know about cables. So we're going to skip the first 2 stitches, which is stitch 1 and stitch 2, and on stitch 3 we're going to work that one first. So since it's a far away, we need to go ahead and make a treble crochet. So we're going to yarn over twice, and then we're going to go into that 3rd stitch as if we're going to do a front post. So we're going to work a front post treble crochet around here. So we need to yarn over, and now we need to pull through 2 3 times. So here's 1, 2, and 3. So that finished off our treble stitch. So we skipped those 2, work the 3rd, and now we're going to go ahead and work this 4th stitch. So we're going to do another treble stitch. So we need to go ahead and yarn over twice. And now we're just going to work over this 4th stitch with a front post treble crochet. So we need to pull through 2 3 times. Alright, and that's what it looks like so far. So now we need to come back and pick up these next 2 stitches that we had skipped. So the very first stitch that we skipped is what we're going to work first. So we're going to yarn over twice, and we're going to come around over the top of the stitches we just made, and we're going to go in as a front post treble crochet, and we're going to yarn over and pull up, and we're going to pull through 2 3 times to finish off that treble stitch. Alright, so we're ready to work the last skip stitch here. So we're going to go ahead and yarn over twice, and we're going to go around over the top of the stitches we just made, and we're going to do a front post right around that last stitch. So we have to finish off with our pull through 2 3 times. And now over the next 2 stitches, we need to work a back post double crochet. So this is what the cable looks like so far. And now let's go ahead and work that second back post stitch, back post double crochet. And now over the next 5 stitches, we're going to work that right stitch. So if it's a back post, we need a front post. So we're going to make this one a front post right here. And now the next stitch, it's a front post, so we need to make it a back post. Okay, so that's a back post, so we're going to make it a front post. And that's a front post, so we're going to make that one a back post. And now that's a back post, so we're going to make that one a front post. And now in the very last stitch, we're going to go ahead and work a half double crochet. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and chain 1 and turn, and this is going to be row 3. We're going to do a half double crochet in the very first stitch, and we're going to work the right stitch over the next 5 stitches. Alright, so the next 2 stitches we're going to make a front post double crochet around the next 2 stitches. So here's the first front post and the second front post double crochet. Okay, and now for the cable, all we're going to do is just work the stitches right in order as they appear, and they will all be back post double crochet. So the very first one, we're going to do a back post double crochet, and here's the next one, another back post. Okay, here's the third. So let's do another back post. And then here's the last stitch in that cable, so we're going to work a back post around there. Alright, so now the next 2 stitches, we're going to go ahead and work a front post double crochet. Okay, and then over the next 5, we're going to do the right stitch. And now for our very last stitch, we're going to go ahead and work a half double crochet. Okay, so we're going to chain 1 and turn, and this is row 4, and that's what it looks like so far. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and work a half double in the first stitch, and now the next 5 stitches will be the right stitch. Alright, so the next 2 stitches are going to be the back post double crochets. So here's the first one and the second one. Okay, and now for this row right here, we're not going to do any crossing. We're just going to work front post double crochets around the next 4 stitches. Okay, and now the next 2 stitches, we're going to go ahead and work back post double crochets. And now the next 5 stitches, we're going to go ahead and do our right stitch. Alright, so we're just going to go ahead and work a half double in the last stitch, half double crochet, and now we're going to chain 1 and turn, and this is going to be row 5. So we're going to do a half double in the first stitch and then work the right stitch over the next 5 stitches. Alright, so now we can go ahead and work 2 front post double crochets on the next 2 stitches. Whoops. Okay, and over the next 4 stitches, we're just going to work a back post double crochet. Alright, and now the next 2 stitches, we're going to go ahead and work front post double crochet. And then over the next 5 stitches, we're going to work the right stitch. And for the last stitch, you're just going to put a half double crochet. Alright, so from here it's just pretty much a repeat of rows 2 through 5. So I am going to go ahead and leave the instructions on the screen for the size small and size large, as well as the scarf. So if you want the look of how I showed you in the picture, then go ahead and follow the directions on the screen. Other than that, you can go ahead and make it as long as you would like. You could double it up as an infinity cowl, or you can just make it long enough to be a scarf. So the instructions will be on the screen for the sizes as well as the scarf. So just go ahead and pause the video there to see how long, how many repeats you need to do. But whatever you decide, once you get the length that you desire, make sure you go ahead and repeat row 2 and row 3 once more, and then you can either get ready to seam up for your cowl or fasten off for your scarf. And I'm going to just go ahead and come back and show you how to seam that up once I get mine finished. Alright, and I made it back. So this is showing you how to do the seam for the cowl. So if you wanted the scarf, you're pretty much finished. Just end off where you would like and then go ahead and weave in your ends. But if you want to make your cowl, you just want to make sure your cable is on the top, and then you're going to fold it over. So now that it's on the inside, and now we're just going to use our crochet hook to slip stitch this closed. If you don't want to seam it up with the crochet hook, you can also just use a yarn needle and just sew it up the seam. Okay, so all I'm going to do is just slip stitch over to the other side and making sure it's matching up in the stitches. Whoops. Okay, and I'm just turning it so I'm going in the correct direction. And now I'm just going to grab, making sure they're matched up, I'm just going to grab the front loop on the side that's closest to me, and then the back loop that's further away on the other side, and then I'm just going to slip stitch it to close. Okay, so make sure they're matched up, and then the front loop on the side closest to me and the back loop on the side further away, and slip stitch to close. And I'll just show you one more. So here's the front loop on this side, and then the back loop on the other side, and slip stitch to close. Alright, so just keep doing that all the way down till you have your seam finished off, and then once you're there, you can go ahead and finish off and weave in your ends. So I'll be right back to show you what it looks like when I'm done. Okay, so here is the seam all finished, and I'm just going to flip it back to the right side, and here is the cable on the outside, and now this is all finished. So if you have any more ends left, just go ahead and weave them in, and then you're all set. So I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and thanks again for coming along with me, and I hope you make it in many different colors. It's a really beautiful cowl and stitch, and so easy to make. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you in the next one.